Do you want to learn the best strategies to maximize, to help you with your personal essay when it comes to CRNA school application? Well, in this video, we're going to talk all about it. So keep watching. My name is Christine and welcome to a new video. If this is your first time here and you want to become a CRNA or grow your CRNA career, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss a thing. You must be thinking, I'm a little nervous, I'm thinking about CRNA school, I'm looking over the application, and now I'm sitting down today or in a couple of days or in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and you're thinking about how do I write a personal essay for CRNA school. Now you may be thinking, what should I say, what should I do, how should I prepare myself? Well, I'm going to talk all about that right now and give you every single detail. So definitely keep watching till the end of this video, because you don't want to miss one special tip, secret strategy, because that might hinder you knowing everything you need to know to prepare yourself to sit down and write your personal essay for CRNA school. Now, some of the key questions, to give you some details about what they're going to ask you on your personal essay or on your application. They might be asking you why you're considering going into graduate school and why you chose CRNA as a graduate school program. They may ask you, what motivated you to becoming a CRNA. What training do you have that allows you to be a strong applicant for a CRNA school? So those are some of the things that they're going to ask you and want to see how well you answer those type of questions, because of course there are many applicants that are applying to CRNA school, but you can be the one that's prepared and have everything written well to make sure that you are on point and ready to get accepted. You might be sitting here and thinking, what can Thrive CRNA do or help me maximize in thinking about CRNA school? Well, I'm here to give you as much details as I can. At the end of the day, it's all up to you to make sure that when you write your essay, it is as truthful, as honest, and as detailed as you want it to be. So one of the first things I want to talk to you about is that when you're thinking about writing an essay for CRNA school, try not to bring up salary, how you want to make more money, you want to have autonomy. I mean, those are things that we all know, as a program director, that a lot of people are going to CRNA school because of that. But of course, you want to go into CRNA school just to more than that, because you want to better yourself. You want to be an advanced practice nurse. You want to provide compassionate anesthesia. You want to as well provide evidence-based practice, that's going to allow you to advance yourself and allow you to be more independent. But when you're talking about your essay, definitely don't talk about money or autonomy. Those are generalized terms that a lot of people that are writing their essay, they're going to mention that. But you are going to be prepared, and you're not going to do that. You're going to be more detailed about you as an applicant. What things that allows you to stand out as an applicant to be accepted into a CRNA program. Now, when they ask you a certain question when you are applying to a program and you look at the application, make sure you answer the question, what they're asking of you. Make sure you're as detailed as you can be, but as well as you don't want to, if they ask you, for example, to write your essay in within 500 words, try your best to stay within that. You don't want to go too much over as well as too much under. You want to be within the guidelines that they're asking you. Whatever they're asking you, you want to make sure that you're answering it appropriately, as detailed as you can be, as well as stay within the range they're asking you, because this is another thing. There are going to be applicants out there that are going to write an essay and they're going to write 10 pages, versus some applicants might write a paragraph. You may think to yourself, that's impossible. Why would you do that? Some people do that, and that's okay. Everyone's different. But at the end of the day, when they are looking at your application, they want to see if you follow direction. Because of course, when you go to CRNA school, are you going to follow direction when you're in class? Are you going to follow direction when you're in clinical practice? And as well as work well with others. So those are some things that, they don't know you yet, but they're trying to see and test the applicant to see if they're going to actually follow the guidelines that are put in front of them. So definitely stay within the guidelines of what they're asking you and try to follow the steps that they're asking from you, step by step, and making sure that it's what they're asking and making sure that it's within the amount of words or amount of pages. Also, when you're thinking about writing your personal essay, also think about how you're going to start your personal essay. You don't want to be generic, you want to stand out. So what are some tips I can give you as an experienced CRNA and what I've heard from precepting CRNA students? So I would recommend making sure that you have something catchy, maybe a quote, a very inspirational quote, also maybe a story to bring the reader in, or also some type of statement that really is strong or some type of experience that you've had that can bring the reader in. Just think about it. When you are reading a book, for example, something that's a leisure book, and you first start in the first couple pages, when the author brings you in and keeps you in there and starts the story very strong and you get that hook, is definitely something you want to think about when you're writing your personal essay. You want to hook that CRNA advisor or a professor. You want to get them hooked that they're going to continue reading your essay. They're going to say, wow, this person is really interesting. I want to hear more. You want to get them interested. So definitely try to get a hook in there. Quote, maybe a story that's very inspirational. Maybe some type of statement that can stand out to bring the reader in. Definitely do that, and I think that really will help your personal essay. Also when you're discussing about yourself, when you're talking about maybe some of your experiences, don't always focus on your strengths. You want to also focus on some of your weaknesses, things that have of course been a struggle for you, but how you've overcome them. So those are some things you can think about, because you can't not everyone has all positives. We all have our negatives, but in the sense that you can overcome your negatives. You may have to sacrifice, you may have had some weaknesses, you may have had some fears, but how you've overcome them and allow you to be this person that you are today, applying to CRNA school, applying to graduate studies. Another thing to add about your essay is to also talk about maybe your shadowing experience. You shadowed a CRNA, what you've seen, what you've learned, what kind of questions you've got answered, and what made you or solidify the reasons why you're going back to school to become a CRNA. So definitely talk about that, because it's very good to say that you've shadowed a CRNA, because you're not just applying to a program not knowing. You've seen it and you're interested in it, and you've definitely done the legwork. So definitely talk about that. Mention that in your essay. Also, when you're talking about your personal essay and what you're going to be writing in it, no matter the topic, you want to discuss a little bit about advanced practice nursing. You're aware of there's many different types and what led you to choose the route to become a CRNA and to do anesthesia practice. So definitely talk about the knowledge that you have about the profession and why it led you to this point. That will definitely be a great tip. Now, I'm bringing back a little bit of more things. When you're thinking about your resume, you want to mention things from your resume. For example, what type of activities you've been involved in the ICU. Maybe you were a champion, maybe you were a charge nurse, maybe you were part of quality improvement measures, maybe you were part of research, evidence-based practice, maybe you're part of a residency program. Maybe you could also talk about what type of hospital you worked at. It's a level 1 trauma center, maybe it's a teaching institution, maybe even it's a small institution, but you've had a lot of autonomy in the sense that you've got a lot of different types of sick patients, different type of critical care medicine that you've been involved in. So you can definitely use that to your advantage. Also, maybe you can discuss if you are a nurse that has been in multiple other areas. For example, labor and delivery, or you were in pediatrics, but now you're in the ICU. You can definitely mention how you have a broad range of experience, not just ICU nursing, but a wide range of experience, because that speaks a lot. Because as a CRNA, you're not only going to be doing anesthesia to really critical care patients, you're going to do a wide span of patients, giving them anesthesia, pediatrics, the elderly population, critical care, very critical patients. You may have GYN, you may have your labor and delivery doing epidurals. So definitely it's great if you do have another background in another area in nursing. Definitely mention that, and mention how that can help you in CRNA school as well as a CRNA practicing. You also want to mention when you're talking about your essay, you need to know the CRNA program you are applying to. You need to do your legwork, you need to do your research, you need to know the program, know the class size, know what research that they're involved in. Because a lot of these programs nowadays are doctoral programs. So you want it, and it's very focused on research and evidence-based practice, which is a part of anesthesia in any light. So you definitely want to know what research studies they're doing at the specific CRNA school. So because the nice thing is, if you do mention a little bit about what the program research is and how maybe you're interested in doing that as a research study, there's maybe something special, for example, like the BIS monitor. That's one of the monitors we use to monitor how deep a patient's asleep under anesthesia. It's a monitor. It's subjective, but it also can be very objective too. So you also want to mention maybe there's a BIS monitor and you want to do research studies on the pediatric population and how it can allow for better anesthesia management. I'm just giving you an example. So you definitely want to know a little bit about your program and maybe hit upon maybe one of the research studies that you're interested in, and maybe it matches what the school is doing. So that would be very, I think it's very good, because if you're mentioning about the knowledge about the program, they're going to be impressed because you did your research. So definitely do a little bit of research and know the program. Additionally, some other things to think about as well when you're talking about your personal essay, to maybe add to it to make it really strong, is to talk about maybe some of the things that you're doing outside of the ICU. Maybe you're involved in, volunteering to help the elderly. Maybe you're volunteering to soup kitchens. Maybe you're doing something outside of ICU nursing. You're volunteering your time and energy to help others. That's another thing you can mention in your essay that speaks a lot about you. So definitely talk about, of course, what you're doing in the ICU, what extra activities you're involved in. And if you're not involved in any activities right now, you need to start getting into the rhythm of getting involved in activities in the ICU, as well as what activities are you doing outside of the ICU that can also strengthen your application, because you want to speak about that. And go over your resume. See what things that maybe you can add to your resume, vice versa, add to your personal essay. I'll give you an example. To give you some examples from my experience to help you, to guide you, and to give you some specific examples of how you can go ahead and adding that to your personal essay. When I was an ICU nurse, I was involved in many things in my hospital. I worked in the ICU at NYU Langone Medical Center in New York, and it's a teaching institution. And I was involved in rounds. I was involved in quality improvement measures. I was a sepsis champion when that was just started out a bunch of years ago. I also was involved I did a substance abuse research program. I worked with the pharmaceutical department at NYU in research, and we did actual studies on specific medications or different types of molecular compounds, and how that can help with substance abuse and decreasing, substance abuse with a certain population. So that's another thing I could say that can help you with adding to your resume. To your personal essay. Another thing you could think about saying is, for example, with me, I was also involved in going back to school. So even though I am currently a CRNA, my background was I was an ICU nurse for about 6 months, and NYU was great, where they give you the opportunity to go back to school, everything covered, and you go to NYU and you go back for your advanced practice nursing degree. So when I was working at NYU, I also took classes part-time at NYU institution and NYU the school. And when I went back to school, I was going for an advanced practice degree in acute care, nurse practitioner. Yes, I took many classes, and I realized that down the line that this was not a fit for me. It was a great program, and even though I loved the program and I loved what I was learning, something deep down inside said to me it wasn't a right fit for me as an individual. So then I went ahead and I applied to CRNA school after I shadowed a CRNA, which was important because I shadowed. And that was also something I added in my essay. So that's something that, even though I was going for another degree, now I went back into CRNA school, to become a CRNA. So that's something that if you're in a similar situation, you can kind of talk about that and definitely go into detail about that, because that's something that sets you aside and makes you unique as an individual when you're applying to a CRNA program. Another thing you could think about adding to your application when you're talking about your essay is maybe you have been an ICU nurse for many years. Maybe you've been an ICU nurse for 10 years. Maybe you are, older, and you may consider you want to go back to school and this is your passion. And you may think, should I mention that? Yes, you should mention everything about yourself. Be fully disclosed. Let them know, everything about you as much as you can to be real. Because they want someone real and who wants to, even though you may have some weaknesses, but being older is not a weakness, honestly. So definitely consider going to CRNA school if you are older. Even if you're younger, doesn't matter. No matter who you are, diversity, different cultures, different backgrounds. I feel that if you want to do something bad enough, you should do it and you should apply. So whatever sets you aside that's unique about you, maybe your cultural background, anything, definitely talk about those things. That sets you aside, makes you unique, and definitely humbles the person who's reading your essay. Another thing to think about, there are going to be hundreds and hundreds of applicants that are applying to a CRNA program. So you want to make sure that your essay is on point, that you stand out, that you're unique, and you're definitely discussing a lot of things about you and your experiences, because you want to get accepted. So you definitely want to make sure that you are standing out, your application's on point. Now, you write your essay and you're all done. Don't let it sit like that. What I recommend is definitely finding a friend, a family member to read over your essay. Make sure everything is grammatically correct. Making sure that everything flows well. Making sure it's catchy. Because even though you've written an essay, you've written it. You always want to have someone else look over it. Even when I'll give you a little secret. When I was in school doing my nursing degree, I would always write my essays, always write my papers, but I'll always go to the writing center because they were English majors. They were experts in writing. So whenever I wrote a paper, I would always go to the writing center, have someone look it over, maybe touch it up, making sure that everything flows together, making sure everything's grammatically correct, making sure I answered the actual question that's asked of me, and make sure I actually went in within the guidelines that they ask. So don't just write your essay and then send it out. Have someone look over it. Have one of your friends who know you very well, maybe one of your family members, maybe someone you know who's a really good writer. Definitely have someone look it over, making sure that everything flows well, everything makes sense. Because, as a nurse, you have so much to say, but you want to make sure it all flows well. So definitely have someone else look over your paper before you actually print it out and send it within your application. So these are some of the few things to think about when you're thinking about your personal essay. And I hope this helped you. And if you have any specific questions, definitely put it in the comments below. Now, I'm so thankful that you were watching this video, and thank you for watching. So if you want to learn more about CRNAs and how to grow your CRNA career, definitely click one of these videos over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.